There is a trend taking place in today's watch market, and that is a desire for sub 40 millimeter sports watches. And I think this one is just one of multiple that Omega has recently produced in an effort to meet this demand. So this is the Speedmaster 38. It's not a Speedmaster Professional, though it is very similar in certain aspects, but it will differ from a Moonwatch in several ways. It has some very nice elements to it, and I think it will greatly appeal to that crowd who want to see more sub 40 millimeter options in the market. Now, first, a quick thank you to Exquisite Timepieces. They are my recommended Omega authorized retailer. They lent this watch in for a video. They're a family owned AD in Naples, Florida, and one of the larger Omega ADs in the country. So if you are looking into any Omega model, definitely reach out to them and feel free to say that I sent you over. Now, this Speedmaster measures in at 38 millimeters in case diameter. It is only 44.9 millimeters total lug tip to lug tip and will sit 14.7 millimeters tall on the wrist, though I will say it does wear thinner than that nominal dimension indicates, but it's still a pretty tall watch. 18 millimeters is the lug width, and the weight is about 130 grams on this 5-link Speedy style bracelet. Now here it is on my 7.25-inch wrist. I took these clips outside in a rather dim winter day here in Utah. It does look sharp in natural light, and the lyre style lugs really reflect a lot and naturally draw the eye in. This version has a baby blue color scheme that is light and sharp, and the addition of the PCLs in the 5-link bracelet also provides some more visual interest, but also some additional polished surfaces that will attract hairline wear marks. Now, I find the finish work very good. It's exactly what I expect from Omega. Although the watch is quite a bit more affordable than a Speedmaster Professional, Omega did not phone it in or take shortcuts when it comes to the fit and finish. Now, I would say the biggest similarities to the Moonwatch will be the case, the pushers, the crown, and this bracelet style. The main hands are similar in form or in shape, but that is where the similarities end in my opinion. Omega has taken steps to make this watch have really its own identity. I get the impression that they don't want this to be confused for a smaller version of a Speedmaster Professional. They want it to be its own thing. Now, this watch has a more decorative bezel. Note the notches found in the stainless steel outer edge. These will correspond to the indexing that's found on the blue aluminum tachymeter index. So the frequency or the placement is not going to be at regular intervals. And I know that this is purely subjective, but I'm not particularly drawn to this element. The mix of the stainless steel and the aluminum and the bezel makes the bezel look thinner than it is, and thereby that makes the dial look larger. So it really changes the visual proportions of the overall package. And another way that Omega has changed the visual perception of the watch with simple form is flaring out these 3 sub-registers on the dial. If we go up close under the macro lens, you will see that the sub-registers sit below the main plane of the dial. They have some traditional concentric snailing, and then outside of that, there is an oval-shaped flare that angles up to the main dial plane, and it really gives the dial a funky, non-traditional style or look. Omega then took this oval form and they used it again for the date aperture at the 6 o'clock position. Unlike most Omega date wheels, this one will not be color matched to the very nice Sunray baby blue of the dial, which I think is a little bit unfortunate. Now, other dial details will include small, polished, beveled applied markers, a printed logo with Speedmaster silvered out, nice and tall when it comes to the text application, and that will be in contrast to the other dial text just when it comes to the color. There will be small plots of lume outside of the applied markers and also set within the 2 circles that flank the 12 o'clock marker, signifying the top of the watch. Now, inside the case is Omega's 3330 coaxial caliber. Essentially, this is a 5-position adjusted modified Longines L688 chronograph. So it is made by ADA. It has some really nice specifications. There's a column wheel with very crisp and firm action, really pleasant to operate. The escapement is modified to a coaxial style, so this is meant to reduce friction and enhance the energy efficiency of the balance and that energy transfer. The movement beats at 4 hertz. This has 31 joules, 52 hours of power reserve, and it will be a certified chronometer, but not a Meta certified master chronometer. So I think that this is a very solid movement and could be considered an in-house caliber, as ETA is the movement arm of the Swatch Group who owns Omega. Now let's end with pricing and where this sits in the market. As configured here, the retail price is $5,600 on the bracelet, well below a Speedmaster Professional, but to be expected, as I don't think that this competes with a Moonwatch. The Moonwatch is the icon. It is one of the most popular watches and certainly the most iconic watch that Omega has ever created. This is a smaller, more colorful variation that I think seeks to be a little bit different. It's funkier, it's bolder, and certainly less common in the market. Having owned or reviewed all versions of the Speedmaster, I can say from my perspective, don't buy this thinking you're going to get a smaller Speedmaster Professional. This very much feels different, and I think that it does have an appeal of its own. It has a little bit of a flair of its own, and I think it's a good thing to see multiple color, strap, and material options in this 38 millimeter size. Omega has actually made 20 different variations of this watch. Now, as far as non-subjective areas go for improvement, the only thing that I did not enjoy about this was the basic butterfly clasp. I think that this watch would be more enjoyable on the same sport style clasp that's found on the Moonwatch, but let me know what you think about that. If you are part of the growing movement of watch fans who desire more sub 40 millimeter sport options, how do you like this one? How does this stand up to other similarly priced watches that you're looking into? Feel free to comment below. And again, if you are shopping any Omega, please check out my recommended AD Exquisite Timepieces. They do take trade-ins. They are definitely a good retailer to do business with, and feel free to mention me when you call, text, or email. Links below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.